The South African Police Services swears to serve and protect, but in the last month alone, roughly a dozen police officers have been arrested on charges ranging from murder to rape. The arrest of police officers erodes the relationship of trust that exists between law enforcement and the public. We take a look at the scourge with Lesiba Thobakgale, spokesperson for the South African Policing Union. Thank you very much, sir, for your time this morning. Is it safe to say that indeed this is a scourge?
Thank you, Duty, for having us, and greetings to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika back at home. As the South African Policing Union, we need to mention it clearly that we condemn any form of criminality by police officers, like we condemn those of, even when it comes to the members of the community, because we do not subscribe to any criminal activities. So we condemn such acts, and within the South African Police Services framework itself, where there happen to be such cases, really, it is unfortunate that some members are alleged to have been arrested for having committed such acts. Because remember, police officers are carrying the mandate, which is in terms of the Constitution of the Republic, to serve and to protect and to make sure that everyone within the Republic are safe, and they themselves, they need to be without any form of approach. And we also want to go beyond to say that where there happen to be such cases, they should clearly be isolated and be dealt with, so that the outcome thereof could be known on, actually what is the verdict thereof. And also to look at the image of the South African Police Services to say that it should not cloud that each and every member of the South African Police Services, they happen to be corrupt or they are involved in criminal activities. Because when we look at the prisons as they stand, they are full clearly because police officers have done their job. They have made sure that criminals are being placed behind bars. So we just want to caution the society that we should not use a blanket approach when it comes to such issues. But it is unfortunate that there's allegations that also revolves around some members. And also even those allegations that the arrests have been made, they should not, we should not be taking the members to court ourselves, but we should clearly allow the law to take its course so that we could see what are the outcome thereof. For as we speak of now, it is still allegations. So, and we know the rule of law in South Africa is saying that everyone is not guilty until they are proven guilty in the court of law.
Mr. Thobakgale, so you've got about 12 police officers that have been arrested in December alone. If we take a look at the entire year, to your knowledge, just how many police officers have been found wanting?
There has been reports that were out. Unfortunately, we cannot be able to give the clear numbers that say that so many members have been found wanting. Yes, it really happens. And it's not only in the South African Police Services itself. Even when it goes to other departments, there's also issues that arises. You go to health, you go to education, and so on. So we just need to deal with issues that goes around the conduct of workers within the public service itself. And also not look into the issue of to say that, everyone else should be painted as such. Because when we look at the SAPS itself, there's around 173,000 members in total. So the whole total of 173, even if we are to count for the whole year, or we are to count the 12 that we are mentioning, it doesn't even come to a fraction of the members who are dedicated in doing their job. Yes, we acknowledge it is unfortunate that there has been allegations that revolves around that. It's the same thing. If you have a bag of potatoes and there happen to be one or two that are rotten, you don't throw the whole bag and say that the whole bag of potatoes it is rotten. But you isolate those rotten ones and then you deal with them and you leave with the rest that you can still put to good use. So that is the same principle that we are aligning ourselves with, to say as much as reports are saying that we still have members that are doing their job, we should isolate such incidents.
One of the police officers that have been arrested is alleged to have taken a bribe. And so a woman went to the police station to report a case of rape. She was or the boyfriend who allegedly raped her was made to pay a certain amount of money for his freedom. And so what are some of the cases that you have heard that have really shocked you where some police officers found themselves on the wrong side of the law?
I think whilst we are touching the issue of corruption, in relation to that, we just happen to have a concern to say that when we deal with corruption in South Africa, unfortunately, only one party is the one that is being held to account. If we are able to deal with the corruptor and the corruptee, because that is one of the resolutions that we have taken during our CEC meeting sometime last year, where we are saying that we need to start dealing with both the corruptor and the corruptee, so that anyone who comes and say they are there to corrupt the police officers or they are there to corrupt public servants, they themselves as well, they should also be regarded as found wanting. Different cases are reported, in terms of whatever allegations that arises and that arises involving police officers. And we know IPED, it is their job to make sure that they police the policing. But what we would also like to hear as well is to say, as much as allegations come, also would also like to get the report also from IPED to say what was the outcome of those type of cases, because in most cases we hear there's reports that are being made when allegations are made and arrests are made, but in terms of the outcome thereof, we do not hear at the end of the day, because remember, allegations are allegations until they happen to be proven at the end of the day. So policing has a whole lot of challenges that are there, but we should not cloud the good work that is being done by majority of our members because of just a small fraction of where there happen to be allegations, and even those allegations, before they could be proven, already you find that there's conclusions that are made to say police officers are corrupt and this and this and that. So that is what we stand by, and we are saying that we do not promote corruption. Corruption, it is not good for the society. We are a democratic society, and we should really start dealing with both the corruptor and the corruptee in any cases where corruption is related, in order to make sure that even those who are there to corrupt police officers, they should know that they will also face the mighty hand of the law.
Mr. Thobakgale, you speak about some of the challenges that are faced by some men and women in blue in South Africa with quite a high crime rate, right? And so they too sometimes fall victim to that. You will speak to some police officers and they will tell you that perhaps they also need to be taken care of in terms of remuneration, in terms of other benefits that would perhaps boost morale. What is the morale within the South African Police Service?
Unfortunately, the morale of the police officers is very low. Looking into the issue that it is an organization that is so big, yet it does not have promotion policy, meaning that members have to wait for a period of around 12 to 13 years for them to be promoted to the next rank. Remember, in SAPS, rank goes with money. So if one is promoted to a higher rank, it means that even remuneration of their salary, it goes higher. So without a promotion policy, then members have to be frustrated. It also boils back to issues that are existing within the SAPS, where some of the members are leaving the SAPS for greener pastures, because when you look at the remuneration framework, the South African Police Services, when it is being compared with others outside, more especially if one is to zoom into the private security, where they happen to attract members of the Special Task Force, they attract even NIO members, they even attract members from the detective services, where they go and give them resources and so on. So really, SAPS on its own, it is not competitive when it comes to remuneration. And also looking at also some of the benefits thereof. The issue of the service allowance. The service allowance, it has been standing for a longer period at 400 since 2001. It was only raised at least to 700. Even that 700, it doesn't even come closer to where it's supposed to be, because at least it should be the demand that we made in cancer is that it should be at least raised to 1,500, so that it can also be linked to the CPI for it to grow annually, so that members can be able to benefit. So it is true that the morale, when we look at the lack of promotion policy, there's no upward mobility of our members. Looking into the incorporation as well of the Public Service Act into the Police Act, members who have been appointed for so long, they are faced with the same dangers that police officers are faced. When police stations are being attacked, they are not excluded from that. They also fall victim of those police station attacks. But yet, we have been having this standing agenda for so long, for many years, without it being resolved, to have the members who are employed in terms of the Public Service Act to be incorporated into the Police Act. All of those issues really are clouding a whole lot of issues that relate to policing and really are affecting the morale of the police, because you find that majority of the workers, they are just like they are dragging themselves to work. Whereas SAPS should be saying that let us look at how appetizing can we make it in order to boost the morale of our members, to make sure that also we retain members, we don't lose them, because we know SAPS has lost so many members since 2010, as we compare the numbers from 190,000 to 173,000. Even those numbers, they keep going down now as we speak.
Mr. Thobakgale, sir, you said not to mistaken a few rotten potatoes for the entire bag to be rotten. And in the same breath, you say that the majority of men and women in blue are dragging themselves to work. And so these are cases that are just reported, right? So what more the cases that are not reported or go undetected? Perhaps it does not speak to the fact that it doesn't happen. Maybe it does happen. And so when we look at this issue of remuneration and morale, if you have no incentive to go out there and protect the South African because you are not protected, what then are we doing?
To remember clearly that being a member of the South African Police Services, it is a calling more than it is a job. And it being a calling, it doesn't mean that the benefits of keeping you in the job they don't mean anything, because inflation keeps growing time and again. We've seen it for this year. It went up quite a lot. When we looked at the cost of living itself, it went up. The salaries have not been increasing as they are supposed to be increasing. So the members, they understand that it is a job. They understand that it is a calling that they have taken by taking the oath. And clearly that is why our streets are protected. That is why you have heard that the National Commissioner and the Minister, they were reporting the successes and the arrests that have been made through Operation Shanyela. It was the very same members that we are referring to, whose morale is down. But because they understand that it is a calling, then they know that they have to do their job. Every day, as we speak now, our streets are being patrolled. When we go to the community service center, there are members who are there to assist the members of the community. Despite all of these issues that they have, that relates to their benefits, that relates to remuneration, that relates to upward mobility. So what we are saying is that members are supposed to be in that state up until when? We need to deal with those issues. We need to finalize the promotion policy as we have tabled, a position paper and even a draft agreement in council, where for so many years the employer did not even come back in order to say to us whether they agree with our draft agreement to say those who have qualifications, at least let them be promoted if they have 2 years services. Those with experience, at least let them be promoted within a period of 4 years. So that is showing us lack of political will coming from the South African Police Services management when it relates to that. So the issue of the morale, there are a whole lot of issues that needs to be dealt with. And also the issue of police killings. We have seen it also affect the morale of the police, because when one ties their boats in the morning, they are not sure whether they will come back or not. So those are some of the issues indeed that our members are faced with. But yet, because they have taken the oath, they understand the oath that they have taken, that they are there to serve and to protect. They keep doing that time and again to make sure that the inhabitants of the Republic and their property are kept safe.
Indeed, it is a calling, but we do need to be careful not to turn people to resent their callings. Thank you very much, Mr. Thobakgale, for your time this afternoon. Lesiba Thobakgale is with the South African Policing Union. He's the spokesperson there.